He
I think that
binged it.
Kate Micucci is really cute.
I mean, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Assholes and Nazis, that's who. Hello and welcome to Man of Biscuit, your weekly podcast. It's a podcast. It's a thing we do.
It's for you.
This is
we do it for
episode.
you. It's your podcast.
That's right. We do it for you, all for you, and you know who you are. This is episode 31. This is the 31st time we've been doing it for you. And I am RJ Velosky. With me, as always, my co-hosts Jacob Gamble, TJ Rathburn. Hello, fellas. How are you?
Doing well, man. Glad to be back after 5
Yeah, we had a hiatus. Yeah, I moved. Man of Biscuit Command Center does look different behind me now. Not that different because it's still a boring room with boring colors.
You have art on the wall.
I do. Yes, that's
a poster.
Yeah, it's a movie, big ass movie poster for Magnolia, one of my favorite movies of all time. One of the many things I snaked from my time in the theater. But that's not what this show is about.
It's kind of what the show's about.
Yeah, I did move. You know, we talk about things that we did this week, and I moved. That's a big thing. Across the state, I am back in the Creek of Battles.
Not even a stone's throw away from me.
That's true. That's true. Like, you know,
the D&D analogy.
Yeah,
Worked out real well. That, you know, if our apartments were D&D characters, and my apartment was using an apartment-sized polearm with reach, I could stab RJ's apartment from here.
That's
Not
right.
quite adjacent, but with reach.
Every time TJ goes to work, he provokes an opportunity attack.
Which by the way,
that's actually pretty true.
Yeah, there is an opportunity attack, and that's. Did you see on TJ's Facebook there was a gray alien reference that needs to be printed out and pasted onto his window at some point in time in the dead of night.
Yeah.
So it's the first thing he sees when he wakes up.
You know, I think it's really weird that, like, most people are like, oh, I'm scared of such and such thing. And everyone's like, okay, that's cool. But I say I'm scared of grays. And everybody's like, how can we ruin his life forever?
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, yes.
Fair.
So that is the goal. I mean,
in recompense, TJ, I'll give you your opportunity so we can get at the top of the show so these poor people don't have to listen to a half hour of this.
Yes.
I've recently started playing WoW on a private server, and I'm in an RP guild, and somehow some of my guildies found out that we do this show, and I told them I'd give them a shout out, and I'm not going to mention them by name because I don't want to be, you know, that dude exactly, but they know who they are, and hello. Hi.
Hello.
He's all self-conscious about it. He's like,
I don't.
hi.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I played. I not so much during the move. I played. I got a level 20 something warlock in the same guild. My boy TJ got me in, and it's been fun. A lot of cool people there. So, thanks for watching, and hopefully you still watch when you know that we're not going to shout out. No, I'm just kidding. It's a terrible show. You should never watch it.
Yeah, I told them specifically. I'm like, oh, I have to go. I do this YouTube show. They're like, oh, you do a YouTube show? I'm like, yeah, but I'm not like advertising. I do not want you to watch it.
Right. We are so goddamn embarrassed of this show.
I'm just like, no, it's terrible. It's the worst thing that's ever happened. I just do this to inflict it upon my friends and family.
Ultimately, I go to work and like my bosses talk to me about the show and you know, show notes.
Well, he used to be he was like our first critic.
Yeah, he was, and I mean, he watches with a fair amount of regularity, and he's
cool.
always got
and,
something fun to say about it.
In all earnestness, we do appreciate everyone that watches.
We do.
We just know that we're terrible at this.
We're not. I'm not ashamed of the work that we're putting out. I just understand that it's kind of like a niche thing. That, like, not everybody's gonna be into it.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of this thing that we do, what do we want to talk about first? Because we had 2 weeks off.
What I did this week.
Oh, Jay did stuff.
All right. What did you do, Jay?
I am proud and pleased to announce the fact that I am no longer. I'm Daredevil is now a part of my life. I've actually watched 5-6 episodes now.
Hooray!
And yay! It was brought to my attention as I was binge watching, Garfunkel and Oates and a couple of BoJack Horseman that I still hadn't done Daredevil, and I don't remember if I made the agreement, if I made the announcement on the show, or if I had made the announcement just in the general Facebook post that I would be all the way caught up with Daredevil before, aka Jessica Jones starts. And I have November 20th. I have 11 more days, so to watch 11 more episodes.
Oh, there's only like 10 episodes in the first season.
Yeah, 10 or 11.
Oh,
I can't remember which. So you're over halfway done, man.
So I'm over halfway done. I got to see Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin there.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, which he did. It looks every bit the part.
Old Boy, have you seen Old Boy with his head in the car door yet?
No.
Oh yeah. Dude. That is the moment there, man.
You're just like, yeah, that's the Kingpin.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I look forward to it.
I love that bit about the character because it so perfectly exemplifies, like, he tries so hard to appear like genteel and fancy and high class, but then just something goes wrong and he's like, well, I'm a monster.
I love that show.
And it's too late for the whole spoiler cast thing. I mean, we can do a recap eventually leading up into season 2 or something of the like, because
we'll
I'm
definitely
behind
be
times.
Talking about Jessica Jones and all that stuff as that comes up. When we talk about news, which is what we're going to do now.
Ooh!
So we had a lot happen over the last couple of weeks. Where do we want to start?
Star Wars.
Okay, let's start with Star Wars. We had a new trailer. Wasn't the first trailer.
There were these wars in the stars.
And the stars were so far away, and the light is only now reaching us because it happened so long ago.
Long time ago. Galaxy. Far, far away.
Yes. Actually,
what is more insurmountable? The time, actually. Probably the time. But yeah.
Fair enough. We actually never did talk about the original trailer, just I think logistics of the way shows work. So let's double whammy that. What do you guys think of the Star Wars trailer so far?
So excited.
I am very much excited. I'm still I'm sorry, but the second trilogy still has wounded me to the point of apprehension.
That's how I felt. Like, my initial response was like, I don't know, Star Wars. You hurt me so bad.
I know.
You hurt me so bad.
I don't know how you
so good.
And that's exactly it for me. Like I'm approaching this with apprehension. I'm reservations without any legitimate expectations because of the fact that because the prequel trilogy there was just so atrocious that it didn't ruin, the original trilogy for me.
But it tarnished it a little.
But it did tarnish it a little bit. So
well, I think the biggest hope that we have for the series, from my perspective, is that it's no longer in George Lucas's hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You get I mean, obviously the original trilogy was his work, but at some point it wasn't
even his work entirely. Like, all the stuff that's good came from his awesome director friend, his wife, who was a brilliant editor, and like just him going like, here's some kind of neat ideas if somebody could actually harness them into something useful.
Hey guys, hero's journey in space, go!
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of other, and we didn't bring this up precast, but did you hear about the Disney announcement of the retirement of the Slave Leia? Outfit, that it will no longer be like they are scrubbing every last bit of it that they possibly can.
No more having it on the cover of comics. No more. Yeah. That it's done. It's over.
That's fine.
And, I mean,
we got Amy Schumer first. and it can go to rest now.
Well, for me, there was a good op-ed article. It really did a good job of the focusing my views on it. And that was what was basically said was that it was an attempt to it was an attempt to demean a warrior, and that's what she was. I mean, she was a warrior, and to have taken back her own, killed Jabba, and yada yada was a reclamation and something that should be celebrated as opposed to vilified.
I mean,
and there's something to be said for that.
There's something to be said for that, but there's also something to be said that you can frame it, rationalize it however you want. The point of that outfit was to give 13-year-old boys boners. And that is demeaning to the character no matter how
I can't disagree with that.
But... And also, like, I've seen some references to Carrie Fisher's reactions and stuff from how she discussed the ramifications of that scene in her memoirs, and some of the things that she's found, like anatomically correct Leia dolls in slave Leia outfits at cons and stuff, and how she plays it off, but that it seems, bothersome to her. And I'm like, well, I mean, she does have a certain level of gatekeeping over that. I'm like, it's her, and if she's no longer super comfortable with what it's become, then that is an indication that maybe it's been taken too far.
Sure.
I can see that.
Absolutely. So, a little bit of Star Wars trailer action, a whole lot of more Star Wars talk in general. But yeah, look, as somebody who is on record as being not, a huge Star Wars guy, I do like the looks of these trailers. I probably won't be there on opening night just because I don't want to deal with that mess.
No.
I'm just too old for that shit. I mean, dealing with jam-packed theaters for anything is just...
I'll do it. I love that stuff still.
Fair enough.
I love it still. Like, I love the event of it, like the pageantry of it. Even like with this sort of thing, there's going to be dressed up and stuff like that. But even without that sort of thing, just that communal experience of so many people gathering in one place because of their shared love of one thing always is exciting to me, whether it's, writ large in a convention or small in a theater,
Yeah, I can buy that, but then it's always really hot. Somebody's going to have really bad BO, and people are going to be talking when you're trying to watch the damn movie. So maybe that's just me saying, get off my lawn.
That's why I'm going to carry a stun gun.
Well, yeah, the other option is to go to someplace like the Alamo and just drink heavily through the entirety of it. And
they also keep people from talking, and, presumably the BO guys won't be there. There's more space between seats regardless. So
yeah. Fair enough. What else happened this week? BlizzCon. BlizzCon happened. A lot happened there. This is the Blizzard podcast. So
oh my goodness. Yes. See, unfortunately, it's gone back. We had gone away from it for so long. I mean, we had made an effort to, despite the what did we do this week is wow and more wow for you two. For me, it's been I've been looking at this and dealing with that and playing with this but no, you guys are still in the throes of that whole thing.
Yeah, I got that needle back in my arm.
Yep, and Legion might do that for me.
I don't care. I'm done with retail. It's over.
No,
it's over. It's dead.
It's not dead for me because of the people I play with. I have some really, really good friends that I raid with in retail, and I'm not giving Blizzard money because of the game. In fact, I'm not giving them money at all. I'm paying for my subscription with gold because it's ridiculously easy to do so. But I'll get Legion as long as my raid team is still together and the people I care about are still playing. That is the only thing that will cause me to buy Legion. That being said, that intro the cinematic intro that they debuted.
Looked kind of neat.
It was pretty cool. I mean, and Blizzard has always been on top of their game with their cinematics.
Yeah.
Some have been better than others, but this...
What was your favorite?
Actually, my favorite to this day is still the original World of Warcraft. Yeah, it just the undead guy like scorching the Murlocs, and
that was actually the
that was Burning Crusade. I'm sorry, you're right. And Burning Crusade mirrored intentionally.
Yeah,
yes,
it was the same characters, just more advanced.
Yes, no, but what the other moment that I was going to mention that is definitely in the original is the Night Elf running through the woods and just like jumping down and shifting into a cat, and then later on battling with a Tauren, and you got the dwarf with the bear, and it was like I was so wrapped up in the idea of Warcraft at the time that it was just like it got me going every single time. Like every time there was a patch or I had to reinstall the game, I'm like, oh, I get to watch the cinematic again.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh.
One of them that I didn't particularly care for at first, but I do really enjoy now in retrospect, was the Wrath of the Lich King.
Yes.
Cinematic.
My
just
son.
that voiceover.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you were
that
born.
one is far and away my favorite. But and again, we talked about MPO, and we talked about it in MPO. Everything that the Lich King, the expansion was great. It was the best time in WoW I've ever had. Actually, no, that's not true. Tail end of Vanilla when
Vanilla and Burning Crusade were for me, and I think that the Burning Crusade cinematic, as I brought up on no particular order, was probably the best. Like, foreshadowing their stuff going up, and then also still focusing on the characters.
Yeah.
Like being like, okay, these are the dudes that we showed you in the initial like cinematic, but they're cooler now. They've learned stuff. They've got new techniques and new powers, but there's still this threat out there that's beyond what you have already handled. And I think that after that, they started to get into more abstracted, removed things. I kind of appreciated with Pandaria how it went back to having a focus on actual like PC sort of things,
right?
With the Horde and Alliance versus the Pandaren,
right?
Fighting.
The monk.
Like that's
quick aside on that. Did you ever see like their little like the stinger for that trailer? Yeah, it was the human and the orc that were fighting in the trailer, and they're just sitting at a bar and they're both completely wasted. Yeah. It's hilarious. Look it up, watch it. It's well worth 30 seconds.
I did see the stinger for that. It was
good. It was good. And I like Pandaria cinematic. I like that too. It was pretty cool.
And they're all good because I mean, like
Blizzard,
the Warlords one was really cool. How it mirrored the stuff from Warcraft 3, and like that was sweet. But
that's what Blizzard, their Diablo cinematics are really good. Their StarCraft cinematics, that's what they do.
They
just make games as like delivery mechanisms for the cinematics.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we've got three other releases that were announced in that. All three of them with some form of a cinematic or another, and
the movie,
one that was.
And
Hearthstone.
Nobody cares.
I love that.
So what's going on with the Hearthstone? Because I really wasn't paying attention to that news.
Depending on what day you finally release the show, it either is going to be that day or yesterday, the 11th. The 11/11/15 is the new solo expansion for Hearthstone.
Didn't they just release an expansion?
They did Blackrout Mountain probably about 3 months ago. As far as a solo thing goes, they did a new release of Card Run probably 6-8 weeks ago.
Okay.
Those are different. Ultimately, the solo adventures are the solo adventures boss battles
Yeah.
versus the
Okay.
new
So
cards.
the expansion that just came out like last month didn't have those, and now they're just adding boss battles
Yep.
independently. Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, StarCraft. It looks like they're gonna kind of do an episodic thing, which would be interesting. Kind of like Telltale meets the RTS. I don't know. I've never really played StarCraft 2 at all, so not exactly an expert. Yeah.
I've not played it. I really, really want to. I mean, I'm
terrible at RTSs. I have to tune the difficulty down just to get through the story, and I don't really care that much.
I used cheats to get through Warcraft 3 just to see.
Yeah, right.
Next up is
Overwatch.
Overwatch, yes.
Not going to be free to play.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, well, TJ had a point, and we can let him bring that up, and then we'll argue.
Okay, it really depends. It depends on how hard they hold to their word. Because they're saying right now that they don't have any plans to release future heroes. Which, if they hold to that, then this will be okay, but it's also really, really foolish of them to do so. But what's going to happen, like, they have to go one of two directions. Either they're charging for the base game and they don't put in more heroes in the future, and that leaves everybody on the same playing field, and that's fine, but it's going to lose them a lot of revenue. And having seen the way that they've been running as a company for the last several years, they do take advantage of whatever revenue streams they can. And I'm not disparaging them for that. That's what they need to do as a company to keep developing more games. That's fine. But if they're going to start putting in more heroes as time goes by, and they said that they don't have plans to, but they didn't say that they weren't going to. But if they add in more heroes as time goes by, as microtransactions where you can purchase them, then you end up with a pay-to-win scenario. And pay-to-win scenarios are terrible across the board, but they're somewhat easier to swallow when it's a free-to-play game, so that you don't feel like you paid $40 to do nothing.
Yeah, to get your butt handed
to
you on a regular basis.
The reason I'm not as concerned about that is because of their reasoning specifically. Their reasoning was the way that the game has been in playtest and the beta that they just launched recently. The hero changing mechanic is one of their favorite parts of the design process. And if they release paid heroes, they have to account for that and how they're designing. They have to balance it so that anybody can still pick it up and play it, and you're not at a distinct advantage, or you're not getting a full pay experience if you don't have the full run of heroes. So I think they're smart enough to recognize what you're saying, TJ, and that it would be a terrible thing to do this. I think if anything, because you're right, microtransactions are part of modern game business models, revenue models. But I think if anything, what you'll see is, firstly, you'll see cosmetic microtransactions. Yeah, you could see some maps in a a micro transaction format. But I think if you see an expansion of heroes, what you're actually going to be encountering is probably an expansion of the game, like a full on $30 expansion or $40 or whatever, but
where you get a set of heroes instead of piecemealing heroes here and there, which works fine. I mean, it does lend itself, and Blizzard is really good about this because they do games with expansions always. Like, this is what they do. That's how their game design model works, where they will they'll put out the expansion for it 6 months or a year or 2-3 years. It's Blizzard, whatever. However long down the line, and then they'll dramatically drop the price of the initial game. So that the total price to get involved will be about the same. You're going to be, losing out financially in a sense, having been a day one purchaser of the first game and then a day one purchaser of each expansion thereafter. But hopefully you've gotten your value out of it over the course of that amount of time.
Sure.
So they do a good job of making sure that even though expansions tend to unbalance the previous stuff and like diminish how relevant the previous things were, they make it a little bit easier to swallow by making it less expensive or whatever. My hope is that if they do decide to go forward with that kind of a model, that they focus on making sure that the initial heroes don't get lost in the shuffle in the same kind of way that, like, in World of Warcraft, Death Knights were just so overpowered compared to everything else, especially at first.
Right.
And like, it's difficult to balance sometimes.
Yeah.
And you got to give some slack, but they're Blizzard. If anybody can make it work, it should be.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think that you will see imbalance. I mean, because there's just no way for any people or any person or any group of people to foresee what's going to happen when something as complex as a game hits the wild. You know, so there's always going to be patches and adjustments, and the key and what Blizzard has been really good at is designing things such that you can balance things with sliders as opposed to complete rehauls, you know. So
they just nudge a little bit this way or a little bit that way.
Yep. So Overwatch is not my style of game really.
I'm not gonna
so I won't be buying it. But I think that it's good to see them going in this direction. I mean, you know, when they announced it, it was their first brand new IP and, you know, like forever.
A million years.
Yeah. So anyway, thus ends the Blizzard podcast.
They've been digging Warcraft games out of the strata in the Badlands since my grandfather's day.
What else did you want to talk about out of BlizzCon, Jay?
The underly impressive movie trailer.
Well, it was a movie trailer. I
actually haven't even watched it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was a movie trailer. The problem is movie trailers have become, and always have to a certain extent, unique to their era. But we're really in the middle of a huge cookie cutter CGI epic trailer era right now. And so it was very paint by the numbers. There were some things to enjoy about it. But, you know, I've never really been super hyped for the Warcraft movie to begin with. I mean, I'll probably watch it, but the trailer didn't change that.
If that's the trailer, if that's what came out, you know, the month prior, I'm not even recording that. I'm not even keeping track of the date.
Yeah.
I
hadn't been either.
Impressive to me.
Yeah.
So the other thing, and this is one of those things that I need to do, I need to take a quick look at because I'm trying to remember why this is happening. But also in other Blizzard news, they're no longer doing the
subscribers.
Yeah, the subscriber numbers and the things like that. They're
no longer going to release their subscriber numbers. The most recent was like 5 million, 5.5.
5.5 down from 5.6 3 months previous.
Yeah.
And somebody pointed out something that I hadn't even thought about and probably should have. Like, they say they have 5.5 million subscribers, but how many of those are actually that's not 5.5 million gamers. How many of those are people with multiple accounts? How many of those
and not just that, but also a criticism of their subscriber numbers for a long time has been that they include the Asian markets, which are predominantly like internet cafes and that sort of thing. So, the subscriber numbers have always been a little skewed, but
I would not be surprised to find that there were somewhat less than 2 million actual players in World of Warcraft.
Which is, and that would probably be about right, just out of like off the top of your head, you know, a feeling for how I play on one of the most populous servers in the North American region, and
so do I.
I haven't. Yeah, well, we play on the same server, so.
Are we both on Illidan?
No, you're on Storm Rage for your Alliance server.
I'm on Storm Rage for my Alliance server, but I play on Illidan as my Horde.
Well, they're pretty much the same server. One's Alliance, one's Horde, whatever. Anyway, too deep down that rabbit hole. The moral of the story is I haven't had a queue in forever. You know, and a part of it's their technology. They really had to kind of account for the surge from Draenor, but the other part of it is there's just not a lot of people on the server. So, anyway, all right. One last thing that happened this week. Yeah, it was earlier this, or maybe, I don't know. It happens this last time we've talked to you fine people. And that is the announcement that Star Trek is coming back to TV for a brief one-night stand before it then launches as a web series.
Before it vanishes behind a paywall.
Right. Yeah. So that's part of the, I'm like, yeah, I'm the Star Trek. I'm like, yay, more Star Trek. And then I'm like, wait a minute. All the new Star Trek that has come out in the past 5 years, I haven't really cared for. And this is probably going to be more of the same. And it's behind a paywall, and I probably won't pay. And so there's that. I don't know. It's what you get when you're a Star Trek fan. We proud.
What's it going to take to make you relinquish your fandom? How long are they going to be able to stomp on your teeth before you finally give in?
They will have to retroactively adjust space and time such that Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager never existed. That's what they'll have to do.
They're working on it, I think. There's a lab somewhere.
So, yep. So, more agony in the life of a Star Trek fan. I guess I should say, even though neither of you guys watch the show, this week's episode of Doctor Who,
I heard it was great.
It's the best I've seen in a long time, easily in the upper echelons of the modern era. And if you're not a Peter Capaldi fan after this episode, I got nothing left to tell you, because it was just phenomenal. All right, I think that's about it, gents. You guys have anything you want to talk about? Okay. All right, then we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. And thank you again for watching. We do appreciate it.
Do we have notes or anything?
No, we don't have
comments, etc.
No.
I checked.
Yep. So
makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and
what you should subscribe and
like and subscribe. And Jay, you should say that comments make you sad. That way, people will leave them.
Comments make me sad.
Okay.
Everybody makes fun. Well, actually, Steve made fun of me for not having watched Daredevil when I was binge watching. So yes, comments make me sad. That's true.
So leave more. Make Jay sad today. And for
only 32 cents a day, you can make this man entirely miserable. Can't you find it in your heart to make this dude's existence just way worse?
Because let's be honest, it's not a part. Anyway, we're gonna pile off Jay here. We're gonna say goodbye. So for the sad man himself, Jacob Gamble, for TJ Rathburn, I am RJ Voloski, and we will see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.